It's a glorious day here at Cabinet Joint. I'm Justin. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to install the Sugatsune garage door hardware. This video does not cover the assembly of this cabinet. If you want more information on that, we have other videos in our catalog that you can find. We're just going to be focusing on the installation of this hardware. So garage door hardware essentially allows your door to stay closed, but then instead of opening traditionally to your side, you can pull it up and slide it back in your cabinet. These have become increasingly more popular, as well as the side pocket doors. And the side pocket doors, they open up to the side, but then they slide back in. And they are both great options, but as you're considering which one would be better for you, just think about the overall height or width of the door compared to the depth of your cabinet. Right now, this door is sticking out about 7 inches, and that's because we're dealing with a 14-inch opening and only a 12-inch deep cabinet. So there's spacing in the back for the mechanism as well, and so then it pushes out the door even further. If you don't want to have 7 inches sticking out, maybe a side option is better for you. But these are all things that you can talk to your cabinet coach about, and they can figure out the best option for you. But we're just talking about the top lift garage door today. These are becoming more popular because it is nice on your countertop to be able to hide your appliances, your blender, your toaster, your potentially your KitchenAid, things like that. And then when you want to pull them out, instead of needing to open door, losing counter space as you're opening up that door, you just can open up, slide it back in, pull it out, easy access. And so I think that is why they're becoming so popular. This is going in an office, and we are going to be putting in a printer, a Wi-Fi router, those types of things. So it's nice to be able to hide those items that you still need to get access to often. And just to be clear, you see there's no bottom on this cabinet. That's because typically you find these just directly on top of a countertop. You can install these hinges elsewhere. I've seen it on top of a fridge cabinet, and sometimes just those high openings that are next to your ceiling on a cabinet. You can realistically place them anywhere. Measurements you need to consider as you are planning for this cabinet is, first of all, what are you going to be putting inside of here? If you're putting a blender or KitchenAid, you have to be aware of the height. Just because your opening is big enough for your KitchenAid to fit, it doesn't necessarily mean then you can still use this door, because I lose about 2 inches from the opening just so this door can fit and slide back in. Another thing, like I said earlier, you need to be careful of the door size ratio to the depth of your cabinet. The taller your door is, the more it's going to stick out as you slide it back. It is possible to have your door slide all the way back into the cabinet, but you're just going to need a shorter door or a deeper cabinet in order to accomplish that. This system comes in 14-inch, 16-inch, 19-inch, and 24-inch, depending on the depth of your cabinet. All the measurements stayed the same for the installation process, so everything I'm going to be showing you today applies for all of those systems. The only difference is that the slides change in length. There is no real restriction for the sizing of your door. You can make it as wide as you want and as tall as you want, but there is a restriction with weight, and that's something you can talk to your cabinet coach just to make sure you don't end up with this massive heavy door that would break the glides. It's worth mentioning too, this is only available for inset cabinets because it would be physically impossible to do it with overlay. It might look complicated looking, especially as you get the packet, you'll see all the hardware that comes inside. It's intimidating at first, but trust me, follow along with the process and it's a really easy step-by-step. In terms of tools and supplies that you're going to need for this install, it's first and foremost, most importantly, the pack, the Sugatsune pack that will contain all of the mechanisms, screws, the slides, everything like that. And it will come in a bunch of little plastic bags, but you'll open them up as we go and install and organize them. So make sure you keep everything organized, don't mix it all together. It will also have instructions that come inside. We are kind of following the same order as the instructions. At the same time, the instructions are in millimeters. These are here if you need them, but I wouldn't recommend going. If you follow this video, you shouldn't need these instructions. You will need to have some blocking for the inside of your cabinet to make it all flush with the inside of your face frame. It needs to be 3/4 inch material. We have a matching interior cabinet, and that means we need to have matching interior blocking. Talk to your cabinet coach, make sure that you are getting some extra material sent. If not, you can just use shelves that come with your project, and then they will send you replacement shelves. Also, you are gonna need some screws to install those. You could also use staples or nails, but I'm using screws here. The biggest thing is just make sure that it is not too long, that it's gonna stick out the front or the side of your cabinet. Then I am using a couple of different squares just for marking purposes, as well as a Phillips head screwdriver. I have a drill with a 3/32 bit, impact with a Phillips head bit, a 1 3/8 Forstner drill bit for the doors and drilling out for the hinge cups. I have a self-centering bit, a 3/8 drill bit, and some pliers to bend the door stops. I have those door stops here as well, and pencils and a tape and a clamp and painter's tape. So these are all the things you're going to need for the install. Let's get right into it. To begin this process, we first need to add some blocking into the inside of our cabinet. We needed to block it out 3/4, and that is what we did here. And then we are screwing it from the outside. If you have a flush end, you can screw it from the inside, it doesn't matter. This cabinet has a matching interior, so we are using a shelf with that matching interior. If yours has just the normal white birch interior, you can use any plywood from your job. So make sure your screws aren't too long. In this case, we have 3/4 inch blocking, 1/2 inch plywood for the side. So we are using 1 1/8 screws. Once the blocking is installed, we can then install the glides. We are going to install the glides by first measuring 2 9/16 down from the bottom of the rail above. And then we're going to measure 1 1/8 inches back. And then I'm just gonna use a square to connect those lines. And that is gonna be the first point for our glide. So I'm just gonna drill a hole there because it's easier to do that now than try to do that while we're holding the glide. Taking the glide that comes with your pack, you are going to use the very front hole and set a screw into that hole that we just drilled. I'm using the screws that come with the pack. I'm not using any outsourced screws to install this outside of just the screws that I used for the blocking. Once the front screw is in place, I am using my square to keep my glide straight and parallel with the cabinet, and then I'm going to put a screw in the back. From there, I am going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Throughout this video, you're only going to be seeing the right side being installed, but I'm doing the exact same thing, just mirrored on the other side. Now that the glides are installed, I am going to install the mechanism. And this mechanism here has a right and a left. They are distinct. The way that you can tell which one is left and right is the arm will be pointing towards the front. So here I have my right side. This comes with these machine screws, and you will see 3 holes on the mechanism here on that plate. And you are going to use those machine screws to fasten the plate to the glide itself. And I'm only going to be putting in the left and the right screw, leaving the middle, because the left and the right screw have some adjustment front and back. But once you put in that middle screw, you are locking it in. So I'm going to wait till the very end to put that screw in, just so that way I have that freedom as I am going throughout this installation process. Now I'm going to install the rollers, and the rollers will be installed by measuring 9/16 back from the back of the face frame, and then 1 1/2 inches down from the bottom of that rail. Then I'm going to use a 3/8 inch drill bit. I'm going to drill this hole deep enough to put in this plastic threaded insert. I'm using a clamp because I couldn't get enough pressure with my fingers. So I'm using a clamp to then stick it in. It was a tight fit, which is what you want. And then I'm going to install the actual roller using that machine screw to go into that threaded insert. Next, we are moving over to the door, and on the door, you'll notice there are no current holes that are bored for the hinges. That is because this takes special locations. If you watch our video on how to locate and drill for your door hinge, you can follow the same steps, except the location of the hole is going to be a little bit different. We are going to be measuring 15/16 down from the top of the door and 1 5/8 inch over. That'll be the center point, and from there we can use our Forstner bit and drill a hole deep enough for the hinge. At the same time, we want to make sure that we are not drilling too deep, that we're gonna pop through the front. Once that hole is drilled, I'm now installing the hinge, and I'm using a square to make sure everything is straight and nothing's crooked. And I'm going to use a self-centering bit to drill out those holes, and then use the screws that come in with the rest of the pack to install the hinges onto the door. Before we can install the door, we first need to then apply the strut connectors to the back of the door. The way to get that measurement is 3 3/8 down from the top of the door, and then 1 inch over from the side. And then that will be your location. You can drill just a little hole with a 3/32 bit. That hole will then be your screw point for the top of your strut connector. So I'm gonna screw that together, and then I'm going to straighten out the connector and then drill and screw and connect the other side. Now both my hinges are installed and both my strut connectors are installed. I can now put the door inside of the cabinet. And just like it would be for any other inset hinge, they click in the exact same to those brackets. So I'm hooking the front and then I'm applying pressure on the back, and then you'll hear it click, and that's how you know that it's in. Now I'm going to install the door inside the cabinet. I'm first going to pull the struts out all the way just to make it easier and give myself more room, and the door hinges install the same as it will with the rest of your inset hinges. It has a bracket here inside, and then I'm going to apply pressure in the back. I'm going to hook the front, apply pressure in the back, and then you'll hear it click. That's how you know your door is installed. And now I'm going to take those arms of the strut, I'm going to hook them on the connector and then put that machine screw in there to lock it in place. Then if you're following on with the instructions, the next step would be to install these guard plates, and you'd be doing so in the front and the back. I like the aesthetic of the cabinet without them in, so I'm not going to be installing them here, but if you were, you would install them in the front and the back. That's a safe option because it will keep any objects from obstructing the path of your glides, and that way nothing will fail and nothing will run and get stuck. I'm opening and closing the door just to make sure overall everything fits. I will then make my final adjustments later. And now, seeing that it will work, I'm going to put our door stops in. We have a whole video dedicated to door stops. The link is in the description, but you'll see I'm bending them to make them flat, and I'm putting them on either corner. That way the door won't just continue to swing inside the cabinet. With those door stops installed, I'm going to make my final adjustments here on the door. Similar to the Bloom hinges, these have 3 ways of adjustment. Your front screw is going to adjust your up and down in the opening. Your middle screw is going to adjust your left and right, and your back screw is going to adjust how front or how back it is when it's closed in the cabinet. On your strut, you'll see a Phillips head screw, and this screw adjusts the tension of the closing. So if you have a heavier door, you want to have higher tension. If you have a lighter door, you can loosen that, and then it will close faster. Now that I like all my adjustments and I know everything is nice and set, I'm going to go back and install those screws that we talked about earlier in the video, the 2 screw holes that we didn't put anything in on your glides, as well as the center screw on that plate for the mechanism. This simply locks everything into place and gives it more strength. And now I've completed all of my adjustments. I love the reveal all the way around the door, a clean 330 seconds. And this provides me access to the inside without any doors opening to the side, obstructing my access from the side into this cabinet. And I think it's a really clean look, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. And that's all there is to installing this hardware. Like I said, it's pretty easy. As long as you follow the step-by-steps, follow the measurements, but even if you get a little off on those measurements, there's a lot of adjustability within the mechanism itself. This provides a very practical and a very clean-looking option to utilize this cabinet space for your office or for your kitchen. If you have any more questions on this, if you're interested, or questions on installation, talk to your cabinet coach, or you can call us at 888-211-6482. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.